What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up. Listen, Cowboys Nation. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what week it is. Yeah, y'all know what time it is, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. They call it Cowboys week. We call it Eagles week, right? So typically, when we're doing this, it's a huge, bloodbath. It's very hostile. Me and my guy, Rome, Cowboys fan talk like we're going at it with other Eagles content creators. But this year, I decided to switch it up a little bit, man. And I'm bringing someone out who is really talented. I talk to her all the time on Twitter. Now, she got some troll in her. I'm not gonna lie. She got a little troll in her. I can't even lie, right? But she's extremely talented. She covers the Philadelphia sports area, whether you into baseball, and you like to bet on baseball. She also covers, pretty much, I would say, my 76ers because they got all my Kansas Jayhawks, but she also covers the Eagles. So, CFO fam, let's give a warm welcome to my girl, Bree. What's going on with you, Bree?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, long time. I know you've been talking for a while, trying to make our schedules sync up. You're extremely busy, but like I said, this week we're going to just chill. There's no need to be all hostile with bickering and back and forth, right? Because it's going to be some fun football game. No love lost.
It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. Somebody's going to get beat down, but it's not going to be us.
Okay, see, she gets a little bit of troll in her, y'all. Just a little bit, but not too much. So we're definitely going to have some fun. Now, I got to ask you, right? Because like I said, you cover the Philadelphia area, sports area well. You live in Philly. First of all, how's my 76ers doing? Because like I said, even though I'm not a 76ers fan, I'm a Mavs fan, but you got a lot of my Jayhawks with Embiid and Kelly Oubre, and then I think you just got one of the Morris twins as well. So what's your thoughts on the Sixers this year?
Well, I'm glad they got rid of dead weight.
Literally.
That's my drift.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm excited. They're playing right now. They're actually up 53-47 right now.
Okay.
And I'm excited. I want to see Maxey really take the reins on this team and go far. I think he's ready. It's his time. And I mean, we've seen what happens when he does take the ball, and it's incredible.
Right.
So to see him have this position for the entire season is going to be great.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. Like I said, James Harden, I was a huge James Harden fan. He was in Houston. Now he's been bounced around, and ain't no telling what's going to happen with James Harden, especially out there in LA. So I don't see it working, especially with him and my guy Russ back together. I just don't see it happening, but I know you guys are relieved. I see all these Eagles fans. They're talking about the Sixers too, so they're happy that James is gone. But you live in Philadelphia. You're in the heartbeat, right? The heart of the city, right? So us as Cowboys fans have to ask you, what's the big beats with Cowboys fans? What, we ain't do nothing to y'all. Why are y'all always coming at us like we crazy? We don't bother nobody.
Y'all do bother us, and it's not like you guys did something to us specifically, but we're just tired of the talking. You're supposed to be America's team, have been to Super Bowl in 30 years. It's a lot. And the NFL is a very what have you done for me lately kind of league, and I think it's time for you guys to give up the whole we're better than everybody kind of thing. So let the real team come through. Let the real team come through.
So who would be the real team? The team here in Kansas City?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
I thought you meant the team that actually won the Super Bowl. But here's what I'll say. Oh, no, not them. Not the one that actually won it. Just the team who went. Just the team. Okay, gotcha, right? Now, I will say this, right? Because this comes from a lot of Cowboys fans, and you might see this on Twitter. There's a lot of talk, a lot of media speculation, just everything when it's always surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. But listen, everybody in the chat, the people who follow me, like we don't ask for that. Like we are literally telling Joy Taylor, stop talking about us. We telling Emmanuel Acho, Skip Bayless, like stop talking about us. Talk about these other teams. So it's not us, y'all. Listen, Eagles fans, it's not us.
It's the national media. The national media is always going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. That's just what happens. Right. They only talk about like the Eagles in a very like, I guess, high sense when it's rivalry week.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is. Cause they know what the beef is. They know that when it's Cowboys week, it's a wrap. It's high intensity. You're going to get a rugged game. Is going to be, I think this year is going to be a very defensive battle, and I can't wait because I'm a defensive girl, so I love that.
Defense does win championships, so I'll give you that.
They do, yes, they do. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Cowboys week always falls close to my birthday, so it's like,
you got
it's real crazy.
We got listen, Cowboys Nation, we gotta ruin her birthday. We can't have her celebrating high stuff. So are you going to the game Sunday?
I am not, because those prices they've
crazy.
Been high since the schedule came out, and I'm not doing that.
NFL tickets are like inflated because you guys come here in Kansas City in 2 weeks, and I was getting ready to go like, I'll pull up Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch, and with this Taylor Swift prices going on, I said, oh nope, not going to be able to do it. No, she got the Chiefs tickets sky high, so I definitely understand. So watch it from the comfort of your crib, and plus y'all outdoors. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't like doing outdoor cold games. That's just not me. You know what I'm saying? It's not me. So I'm gonna watch it where it's warm. Now, so you mentioned, because we get all the media hype, which we don't ask for. So last year, you had Jalen Hurts play a phenomenal season, MVP season almost. If he didn't get hurt, more than likely he would have won it. You made the trade for A.J. Brown. That worked out. So, how were things kind of feeling at the end of the season, even though you didn't win the Super Bowl? You got there. Then you had a phenomenal draft from what I think, going with, Jalen Carter, and the list goes on and on, to where you are. So how did that transition? Like, what was your expectations coming into this season after being the Super Bowl runner-ups last year?
For me, it was really just being, it's hard to say to be better than last year when you get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But for me, it was like, there was a lot of things, little things that could have been tweaked a little bit. The games that we lost, it's like, well, why did we lose these games? We didn't keep our foot on the pedal. We can't keep letting up and letting teams come back. So little things like that. That was some of the things that I wanted to be corrected this year. Jalen, like you said, played phenomenal. MVP season. Had he not gotten hurt, probably would have won. And for me, it was like, how can Jalen get better? Because we saw an amazing season from him last year.
Right.
So some things, not running the ball as much. We get DeAndre Swift. So it's like, okay, that takes a huge load off of him being the primary runner in a game. Right now he's only got like less than 100 yards at home rushing, which is good to me. Like, I think that's great.
Yeah, keep it that way. Keep it that way Sunday too.
No, it's probably not going to happen, but okay. We'll get there. But it was little things, coaching, making sure everybody's on the same page and being consistent throughout every single week. And, week one, I'm not even gonna lie, I was like, what team is this? Like, I didn't even recognize them. So I'm like, what am I watching? This looks nothing like the team that we saw game one of last year, game two, game three. It was just a completely different team to me. Like, nothing, play calling, execution, like nothing made sense. So, even coming into this year, it was like, all right, new OC. I didn't think it would be that much of a change because he's been with the organization, but I guess, new play caller, it's always going to be an adjustment. So
yeah,
I just hope they get it together.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that, right? Because we're also going through the same thing, going from Kellen Moore to Mike McCarthy. And I know some Cowboys fans, I'm constantly putting out fires on this channel, really. Like everyone's panicking, ready to burn the building down. I'm constantly putting out fires. That's why I'm always so exhausted, right? But a lot of Cowboys fans haven't really grasped the transition from Mike McCarthy to Kellen Moore, because last year we were high scoring, high octane, throwing the ball 40, 50 times. And a lot of people like excitement. Like, you like defense. I like defense. I play defense. But a lot of Cowboys fans, they want offense. They want 40 burgers and fireworks. And so this kind of slow, methodical offense, they ain't excited about that. They want more fireworks. Yeah. So I understand your transition. Now, do you think that it was the transition from Shane Steichen to Brian Johnson that's kind of causing the delay? Or do you think that maybe NFL teams had all offseason to kind of prepare for what you guys do best, besides the tush push, right? Because they ain't no way to stop that. But besides that, do you think just NFL teams may adapt it and the Eagles really haven't caught on just offensively at this point?
I think it's both. I think the biggest part of it really is that the NFL has had time to dissect everything that the Eagles do well. Mm-hmm. And having a new play caller, also feeds into that, because it's like, how do you go from literally catching everybody off guard with the plays that you have on offense to now having to make more in-game adjustments mm-hmm. to your original game plan because of what the defenses are now showing. So I think it's both, but I think it's more so defenses have had time to dissect everything that Jalen Hurts does best. Mm-hmm. But, they still can't stop A.J. Brown. So we got that. Yeah,
you saw one problem, then you create another one with A.J. Brown, right? Because even though Jalen Hurts isn't looking like he did last year, he's still having a decent season, right? And I think that's the problem when it comes to kind of Jalen Hurts. It's like, he had such a phenomenal season, kind of set the market so high. Like, people want that every year. It's kind of, you see the same thing happen here in Kansas City with Pat Mahomes. It's like, you had to be MVP, 5,000 yards, like every year. Like, throwing for 4,000 is still not a bad season, right? So I still think that. Right. Now, the one thing I do notice, of course, with Jalen Hurts that has people some kind of concern is the turnovers, right? But the offense is still being efficient. Like you said, A.J. Brown is playing at a high level, the highest level of his career. There really isn't that concern now. For me, as a fantasy owner, I'm a little concerned about D. Smitty. D. Smitty, I'm kind of worried about you, bro, because, A.J. Brown's taking all your catches, right? But for the most part, you look at the offense from the numbers standpoint, everything is still pretty much clicking. It just looks a little chaotic at times. Now, you mentioned some of the changes, right? Going from the new offensive coordinator. Like, what do you think that the best changes that the Eagles made this offseason, and what was the move you're still just like, I can't believe we did that. We need to go fix it now?
I don't think there's anything that we need, like a move that we made that needs to be fixed.
Okay.
But I think the biggest thing really is the play calling. Okay. They're not as efficient in the red zone as they were last year. And I think that is like the biggest problem of all, because you can't win games kicking field goals. Mm-hmm. You can't.
Right.
I mean, unless you're playing like Tennessee or Pittsburgh or some like bottom feeder game, bottom feeder team, whatever.
Yeah, like the teams are playing like right now. Or
yeah, exactly. So if you want to bet no touchdowns in this game, feel free.
There you go.
$2 on it.
Exactly. See, I told you she'll get you all right, man. Get your money up, man. Christmas is around the corner. Y'all better follow me.
Exactly. But the red zone stuff is like a real. It's a sore eye. Mm-hmm. It's something that needs to be fixed as soon as possible, because you can't go 18 weeks and be at a 50%, red zone efficiency. That's not, it's not going to work.
Right.
So, play calling comes into it. You just have to get more efficient. You don't have to be fancy in the red zone. Mm-hmm. Just score.
Right.
And I think right now they're trying to be fancy, and they don't have to be. You don't have to call, the tush push sweep that we did last week. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that in the red zone.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could have just ran the tush push, or you could have just handed it off to DeAndre Swift, who would have scored anyway.
Right.
So it's things like that where it's like, okay, make a better decision. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be fancy. Just get the job done.
Yeah. And I agree. You know, when you watch Philly, it's the red zone issues, and something that us as Cowboys fans, we're struggling with as well. Now, I think from the Cowboys standpoint, it's been a lot different because some of our games has been up here, or we're either blowing teams out by 40 or we're getting blown out by, it's like, so we just haven't had those close battles besides the game versus the Chargers. But you guys, on the other hand, you guys kind of been through some dogfights to kind of work things out. So, I think that this game is going to be, for both of us, the game where it's like, all right, you guys need to see some growth, and we also need to see some growth, like offensively, but also defensively as well. Like, how do we really match up? And I think the measuring stick between the two teams, that's what everyone's excited before, because we're confident, but are we confident? And for you guys, it's like, you're confident, but you are, because it's like, the Eagles are 7-1 right now, but you was a little close with Washington. Like, you struggle a little, and you lose it. Like, so those.
I get stressed. Yeah. I get stressed. I lose years off my life watching the Eagles play. Sometimes it's hard.
Well, yeah. Well, really you think we don't do it over here, right? It's just a roller coaster of emotions. Like, every year when it comes to Cowboys football, I mean, you see how crazy we were. At least you guys get some trades, you get some free agents. Like, we just stay stressed all the time as Cowboys fans, right?
Let's talk about that real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I don't understand Jerry. I really don't. Like, why wasn't a move made before the trade deadline? Because I'm still trying to figure it out, but I just think Jerry is greedy and he doesn't like spending his money. But that's just me from the outside.
You got me. I've been trying to answer this question for years, right? And I honestly don't know. Like, I feel like it's a sense of contentment, right? Because it's like, everything is fine. And what I was telling Cowboys fans, if we beat the Rams, y'all not getting no trade, because he can sell it. It's like, hey, we just beat the Chargers. We just had a good game versus the Rams. We're second when we have 2 losses. So everything is still fine. There's nothing really on fire to really make a move. But from my perspective, I think that's just being content. That's just saying, like, hey, man, I ate and worked out all summer. I ain't got to work out now. Like, no, you got to continue to improve. Every day you have to work to get better. And from the Cowboys standpoint, it's just like they just take their foot off the gas. Now, we saw Detroit make a move. We saw Seattle make a move. We saw Philly make a move. Like, you're seeing San Francisco make a move. Like, you're seeing all these teams in the NFC that seeing things are wide open. Let's go try to fix things. I mean, because what happened? You guys sit back, played the Dolphins, and saw Tyreek Hill go over the top of your cover 2 defense and said, we got to fix it. We got to go get safety, like, right now. And you went out there and got an all-pro safety. Versus us, we'll sit back and say, it'll be okay. It'll happen. Like, we're very reactive versus being proactive. Like, we wait till things fully break down, and then we want to fix it. The same thing happened to us last year. Like, we were saying, hey, we need to go get a wide receiver. Go get a wide receiver. I have videos all the way back in training camp. Like, listen, go get a wide receiver. James Washington goes down. You try an undrafted guy in Dennis Houston. That doesn't work. You have Noah Brown, your 3rd round pick, and Jalen Tolbert doesn't work out. Your quarterback starts to struggle. Well, then what do? You don't make a trade, because you could have went and got Brandon Cooks last year. Then you got Jay Tuck at Mavericks games starting the OBJ chant because we're desperate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you should have just went and fixed this when you had the opportunity, and who knows how that would have changed the course of our season. For some reason, Jerry Jones is just content, because at the end of the day, does he have to be a contender to sell tickets? No. As long as he's not trash, the money's still going to be where the money resides, and that's pretty much all he cares about, which is unfortunate. So that's the one thing I kind of envy you guys, because Howie is always trying to improve. And if you look at it from this standpoint, the Eagles won a Super Bowl, fell off, and rebuilt just that quickly. Like, that shows you the tenacity that Howie Roseman has when you actually have a football GM versus an owner and his son just kind of just doing things for the love of the business. So, I am envious of that. I know a lot of Cowboys fans are, but we just got to work with what we got at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, y'all. I know y'all don't like no free agency. That's why I don't do free agency talk. Like I'm a draft guy, because the draft is where we gonna get something. Like when my mom used to take me to the grocery store, like, don't ask for nothing because you're not getting nothing. That's how I feel they do us for free agency. Like, don't ask, don't ask. Like, we start asking for little things. Like, we're like, can we just possibly get like Cedric Wilson back, or do you think we can get Zeke back? Like, something little, like just a little something. Nope, don't ask for nothing. You're not getting nothing. So, that's how Jerry does us Cowboys fans, but we still going to be out there supporting. Now, I want to ask you a tricky question. I'm gonna remove all that stuff in your background. You're not an Eagles fan. You're just a football fan. Let's actually make you a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Do you need to get rid of the tush push? Like, what's your thoughts on the tush push or the Philly shove, whatever y'all call it, if you wasn't an Eagles fan and you were getting it every time, pretty much like a spam in the play? What would be your honest thoughts? Be honest, because we got the camera on you.
To be honest, like, I see nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
It is, to me, it is literally a quarterback sneak that is being done more effectively by the Philadelphia Eagles than anybody else in the league.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing that I can say is defenses need to get better at stopping it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say.
Right.
Like, if your defensive coordinator can't figure it out, that's on you.
Right.
We're going to keep getting these first downs. It is what it is. And you just got to figure out a way to stop it.
Yeah. And Sally, I agree, and it sounds crazy, right? Because here's the thing. We tried to run it. Other teams try to run it. So it's not like other teams can't run it. It's just not as successful as when the Eagles do it. So that's the thing I keep trying to tell people. Of course, Cowboys fans and the other fans don't want to hear it, right? But I was like, listen, It's not an illegal play. You're more than welcome to be able to run it. But do you have the tools and the ingredients to run it effectively? I don't know. We tried. I don't know what happened on ours. Like, it was just all off. Like, I don't know if they practiced it too much. Like, let's not do that no more, right?
Well, the thing with the Eagles is they've come out and said, this is something that we practice every single day.
Right.
We've perfected it during the week so that it works on game day.
Right.
And I think a lot of these teams see it done in game and they're like, oh, well, let's just try that real quick to get the first down. And it's like, now you're getting players hurt because they're not doing it correctly.
Right.
And you're not practicing it, so you don't really know where to go.
Right.
So it's, there's no sense of
Brock
banning
Purdy
it.
tried.
Just get it better.
Brock Purdy tried, and he had a little concussion, and different. Like that's the only way to really stop it. If you pretend like your quarterbacks are getting hurt, run into the NFL, pull the plug on it. But I think that once again, it really leads to the mindset of your team and the culture, right? Because as an offense, you're confident when it's 3rd and 1, you know it's coming. And if you don't get it, then 4th down, you're gonna run it again, which is probably why your 3rd down completion and your 4th down completion percentage is so high and tops in the NFL because of that confidence level. And of course, you have the offensive line and the talent in the running, or not the running back, but the quarterback to run the play efficiently. And I just think that it's a mindset. You have to practice it. You can't just say, what, we're gonna run a tush push right now. Go out there and do what Philly been doing. It's not gonna work like that. Do you have the pieces, the ingredients, the attitude, the culture? But I do think the NFL eventually is probably gonna nerf it and get rid of it. I think they will.
But why? They're not doing anything illegal. It would be different if they were pulling Jalen across, the line of scrimmage, but they're not. And like I said, it's literally a quarterback sneak,
right?
Just with 2 people pushing behind him,
right?
So like, what's the difference?
Well, they got rid of the lead RPO you guys were doing last year, so they got rid of that. So like, I don't know. Listen. I'm just gonna.
I think the league is just haters, and they don't want to see the Eagles do anything 92% of the time, every time.
Right.
And talk all this smack on the field, like Dallas Goedert was saying. You know it's coming, and you can't stop it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's part of sports.
Just let us do our thing.
That's part of sports. Like, even, when the Cowboys had their successful years, like Jimmy Johnson would say, hey, we're going to run the ball with Emmitt Smith. We're going to run it until you stop it. And if you stop it, we're still going to run it. And then we're going to go to Michael Irvin. So it's just like, once again, it's that mindset. So I don't mind it. Just don't do it on Sunday.
Oh, we're absolutely
going to. You're probably going to do the first 3 plays on Sunday. They're going to run the tush push.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I would be so, but honestly, you're probably getting I haven't looked at it, but you're probably getting almost 2 yards a clip by running the play just alone, just by Jalen falling forward. So, man, if y'all ran, I'll be upset.
We're probably gonna run it 3 or 4 times.
The first 3 plays out the gates, run the tush pushes, set the tone. So speaking of the game Sunday, right? So this is gonna be a fun matchup. Now I gotta ask you, are we rivals or is this just a game?
No, we're rivals. This is rivals week. We're enemies right now.
So how are we rivals? Like what have we done to be rivals from a football perspective? Like on the field,
it's just
in between the lines. Like what warrants you guys being our rival?
it's just the hatred of the star.
It's the hatred of the fans,
though. What it is. It's the fans. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All of it.
So when you think about the Cowboys, what is the player that you absolutely cannot stand that makes your skin crawl? Like you hate this player, like it just boils something in your veins.
Well, right now, so playing or just in general?
Just in general. When we think about the Cowboys, you think about this player, and like this is the one I can't stand.
It's probably gonna be bad, but probably Tony Romo.
Oh, okay.
Like I can't. And then to have him in the booth, like calling game, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Okay.
And then Michael Irvin, I can't. He's a lot for me. His personality is very big, and yeah. I'm very introverted. He is a lot for me.
He's a lot for a lot of
people. Yeah. And then I didn't like Zeke for a while. He's
the Eagle killer. I wish we had him back.
One player that I do like, and I feel bad, and I said this last year, Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Tony Pollard. I like the way he runs, his explosiveness. I love all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that he's with Dallas because I don't feel like it's gonna work out for him in Dallas.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be
I feel like he'll. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna go somewhere else and be a lot better,
mm-hmm.
and just do his thing. Like I don't know. I just want better for him so bad.
Well, yeah, that's how I feel about Jalen Hurts, right? Like Jalen Hurts is one of those guys where it's just like, I loved him in the draft. I was speaking very highly about him. I was talking about the Cowboys should possibly go draft him. Cowboys fans wasn't trying to hear it, but at that time, Dak was coming off the injury, so it's like, a lot of different things. I was like, if you want to kind of put pressure on Dak, right. And then he gets drafted to the Eagles, and it's like, no, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I can't just turn and hate on him. And then you guys continue to do it to me constantly. Like you went and got Jalen Carter, and you went and got Nakobe Dean and Grant Calcaterra, and my guy Kyron Johnson out of Kansas. Like it's like you're just like punishing me. I'm saying, like, get some players I don't like, so then that way you can make it fair, But when it comes to the Eagles,
tell the league to stop picking up the phone for Howie Roseman when they see the 215 number.
Or maybe Howie Roseman and the Titans are like in collusion or something. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was talking about this online.
Well, he fleeces everybody. So.
I was talking about this online, right? Because I play fantasy football. And like sometimes when my friends know they're not going to win or make the playoffs, they'll just trade with somebody else to beat me. You know what I'm saying? They don't like me. So like maybe people just hate the Cowboys, where people are just like, all right, it's Howie. I'm just going to load up the Eagles just to beat the Cowboys, right? I feel like that's what's going on, because ain't no way he's that good of a general manager. You know what I'm saying? So there's some little collusion going on there. I need to check in. Because they just be giving y'all players just for the hell of it. Y'all trying to stack the cards to the Eagles so they can beat the Dallas Cowboys. I get it. The Titans. That's why I hope Titans lose tonight, Pittsburgh, to win the game. I'm sick of the Titans hand feeding y'all. So to get into the game on Sunday, right? It's going to be a matchup out there in Philly. Like, for you who goes to the games a lot, like, what is that environment like at the Link? Because you hear so many things about it. And would you suggest Cowboys fans actually come out there and give it a visit, or no?
First off, it is an electric atmosphere. Like, it is something that you feel like in your bones when you're there. Like, that's the best way that I can describe it. And it's something that you'll never forget. Like, it's literally an atmosphere that is like a bucket list kind of thing. Okay. Like, on your bucket list, go to a Philadelphia Eagles game at Lincoln Financial Field. It will never disappoint. The atmosphere is insane. And for rival teams, I mean, it's at your own discretion. I'm not gonna lie. Because, there are people that get a little too intoxicated and right. All they do is raise hell.
Right.
And then there's other fans, like me. Like, I don't cause no problems.
Right.
Unless you come in and you're just like super obnoxious for no reason.
Right.
Outside of that, nobody really don't bother rival fans. Mm-hmm. We really don't. But, the Cowboys are different.
A little different.
Division teams are different. And, it's really at your own discretion. If you don't think that you're gonna cause a riot, then come on down. Like it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Dallas fans that live in Philly, so they know what that atmosphere is like.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come down there with the intention of you're going to do X, Y, and Z and just be out of control, then don't.
Yeah.
Because you'll get trashed in the bathroom or something crazy. Like it's happened.
Yeah.
So
So for me, in order to go out there, it's going to have to be a serious playoff game, like an NFC championship game, and something big where it's like I can't miss. And even last year, right? Even though we lost to the San Fran, if we would have won that game and had to come to Philly, then I would have been out there. But week 9, cold weather, Philadelphia, nah, just can't do it. Just not my vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, can't do it. But if you want to come to Dallas, that's more my vibe. It's indoors, it's nice and warm. You got leather seats, cowboy readers, all sorts of things. So you're definitely to come visit in Dallas. So when it comes to the game Sunday, I want to focus on your offense. We know that the strength of your team is your offensive line, with Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey, and the list goes on. And there's really not a lot of holes when it comes to your offense. So what are some things that you're thinking that, hey, if our offense can do this versus the Cowboys, we're definitely going to have a victory and be partying out there at the link and trolling Tuck on social media?
Running the ball.
Run the ball.
That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you can run the ball, then that sets up literally everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you've got people worried about DeAndre Swift. You got people worried about Jalen Hurts. You've got the defense kind of thinking 2 different ways, and you can exploit one of them,
mm-hmm.
which is great for us, And there was something I saw. Where was it? Hold on. Dallas, let me see. Dallas is allowing 138 rushing yards on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't DeAndre Swift run for 150?
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
But they have to be consistent with it. There can't be this run the ball once, get 2 yards, and then pass. That's
mm-hmm.
You can't win that way.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a more balanced offense when it comes to a defense like the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, and that's the biggest trick when it comes to the Eagles offense, is that you guys are pretty much the most balanced team that we've faced probably this far and throughout this season, right? Because you're 7th in passing yardage, and I think you're 7th in rushing as well. There's a lot of different things that you guys can do on the ground. Like I said, my hope is that Brian Johnson just kind of has some brain fog, and he kind of just loses it and just doesn't want to run the ball. Because I'm there with you, right? If you guys are able to get the run game involved, and I think you guys are going to run a lot more on us, or attempt to run on us a lot more than you did Washington last week, it opens up everything with the passing game, the play action, the RPOs, the one-on-one matchups, gets the lighter boxes to take on the matchups with AJ Brown and Smitty and Goddard and those guys. So I think that's going to be the most important thing, is that the Cowboys defensively, you have to be smart with rushing and getting pressure and play assignment-based football. Because if you go upfield too high, we all know Jalen Hurts will pull it and he'll tuck and just keep those drives alive. So you got to be a lot smarter. And also, I think that what you guys learned last year is that running that RPO and running the options off of Micah Parsons, it kind of stunted his pressure last year,
right.
And I think you guys kind of figured out and did it in multiple games, and it kind of slows Micah down. So hopefully Dan Quinn has a game plan from that to really scheme around it and not just say, Micah, you go up against Lane Johnson all game, because you're not going to take that matchup. Like, even though how incredible that Micah Parsons is, Lane Johnson's incredible as well. Like, why would you want that to be the matchup you want to battle against all game? Like, so right. Pick your poisons, move him around different ways. And I think they learned their lesson. But, also when you watch Jalen Hurts, the one thing I watched about him in the pocket, he's a lot more composed than last year. I mean, he'll stand in the pocket and take some shots. I forgot, it might have been the game before Washington where he hit AJ Brown for a strike, and man, he got lit up, but he stood in the pocket and knew that pressure was coming and still delivered a throw. So he's getting a lot more comfortable in the pocket. Now, if you can flush him out and keep him contained, then that's sometimes where things kind of go, sideways, and that's when the turnovers can come. But if you let him sit back and be comfortable in the pocket and get those quick throws and quick reads, it could be a long day for your defense, but hopefully the Dallas Cowboys can get pressure. Now, when it comes to your run game, I know there's been some conversation on Twitter, Swift, Gainwell, Penny, like what is going on with your running backs, and who do you think needs to be the lead dog when it comes to your running back tandems?
The lead dog is DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
Period. Point.
That's what I feel too. That's what I feel too. But I'm going against him in fantasy this week, so no, don't. No.
Oh, good luck. Good
right.
Luck. But my biggest issue is Kenny Gainwell.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we running Kenny Gainwell in the red zone when we have DeAndre Swift?
Right.
And I think it's happened probably the last 3 weeks now, where we've seen Swift come off the field, Kenny Gainwell go in and get dropped for negative yards or make it right back to the line of scrimmage, and then the offense stalls out. And it's like, but we're in the red zone. Like, why is DeAndre Swift not in this game?
Right.
And that to me is a huge issue, because if DeAndre's coming off the field, I don't want to see Kenny Gainwell no more. Right. Put in Boston Scott. I have more confidence in Boston Scott running the ball than Kenny Gainwell at this point. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm over it. So, I think he kind of got in a little bit of trouble with the whole DMing somebody back.
Yeah, it was a halftime or something.
At halftime, yes. Okay. So I don't know what the punishment is going to be for him, but I'd much rather have Boston Scott on the field when DeAndre Swift is not, compared to Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah, you know how crazy it is to jump on the trolls DMs at halftime of a game and just I thought it was Photoshop when I first saw it. They're like, nah, that was real talk. I'm like, oh, crazy, right? Shows how some of these players are these days. But yeah, I agree. I think that, when it comes to your running game, I think that Swift is your most dangerous weapon, because he can do things like in the running game as well, but also as a receiving threat as well. I mean, because there was a play that last week versus Washington where you flexed him on a wide receiver and had him matched up for a linebacker, and he really had steps on the linebacker. Jalen's kind of overthrew it slightly, but it shows what he can add to your offense. Yeah. Just don't add it next week, So I just feel like just don't add it next week.
Listen,
like,
we're pulling out all the stops.
Yeah. I hope Nick Sirianni's not watching this. He's like, yeah, you know what, Tuck, you sure right. We gonna give you a whole bunch of Swift. We gonna give you nah, bro. Like, just save all that, man. Save it for Kansas City, because that's the game that matters the most, right? That's your real rivals.
We play Kansas City coming off the bye, so it's fine.
But that's the game you guys were doing push-ups and workouts to all summer long, trying to get your revenge back on Kansas City. Save all that for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, save all that for here in Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Dallas going to get this smoke first. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but like I said, I think that, Swift should be your RB1. And I think that, I forgot what game it was, but I think you got him involved early and often, and he kind of saved you guys in that victory. I think it was like week 2. What was the second game? Something like that. Like one of his biggest games where you guys just say, you know what, we're just going to give the ball to Swift. And he played incredible, especially behind that offensive line. So he can definitely add a dynamic to your offense along with Jalen Hurts and also A.J. Brown. But, speaking of A.J. Brown, you guys made the trade from last year, coming from Tennessee, had a good season last year, but right now he's on a tear, pretty much top 2, top 3 in the league. So when you watch A.J. Brown, like, what does he mean to this offense, and what is the biggest jump that you've seen from A.J. Brown from last year to the A.J. Brown we're seeing right now?
I think the biggest jump is the contested catches, and they're more consistent this year than they were last year, at least through the first 8 games. Mm-hmm. We see he's always going to get the receptions, I feel like, but it's the matchups that he's in versus, the way he catches the ball. He had an absolute, it's my lock screen photo right now.
The one he had versus Washington? Catch. Yeah, that was nasty.
Yes.
Yeah, that was nasty.
His one-handed catch last week, that was the nastiest catch I think I've ever seen.
The funniest thing about that catch, right? So it's watching the Dallas Cowboys game, and then they were like, "Okay, we are going to switch you to a more competitive game." They switch me to Eagles versus Washington, and that was the very first play they. I'm like, man, turn this off. Get this off my team. I'm not trying to see this right now. But that catch was crazy. Like I was telling people, I think that's far better than the OBJ catch that everyone kind of hypes up. But that catch. So. Yeah, I think the contested catches, and I just think he's just doing everything. And I think that Jalen Hurts is really just trusting him. We call it playing buddy ball, where it's like, listen, you my best wide receiver, I'm just going to go to you regardless. Covered, uncovered, not getting him the ball often and early. And you're starting to see that here in Dallas. It kind of took us a minute, with Dak and CeeDee Lamb, where it's just like, okay, you got to give CeeDee Lamb the ball. And once you do that, it opens up everything for everybody else. Now, I want to switch to the defensive side of the ball. Now, we know your defensive line is incredible. You added Jalen Carter, who's suffering with the back injury. I think reports he could possibly play, not play.
He's playing. He's playing. He's playing.
Of course.
Participant.
Of course. Why would Jalen Carter sit out versus the Cowboys? I mean, why?
Come on now.
Yeah,
he's a bulldog. Why would he sit out?
Why not? Why not rest for the Chiefs when you could play against the Cowboys, right? But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? But, you have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, who kind of leaned out this year, is playing well, getting pressure. You also have Milton Williams, the linebackers kind of mixing there, Josh Sweat, who's my Seminole. So you got a lot of things in rotations and players that you can do with your defensive front. But your linebacker core, I feel like that's your biggest weakness. So what is your thoughts on the linebacker? I know there's some people, self-included, like I was very high on Nakobe Dean coming out the draft. Guess he had the shoulder injury. He's been nicked up a little bit, but just from an IQ standpoint, I thought he was very well developed, but he haven't translated as of yet. But what's your thoughts on your linebackers, thus far this season, and what do you think is going to happen? Should they make a move or what?
I was hoping that they would make a move. I really did. They didn't, but it's fine. I'm very high on Nakobe Dean. Coming out of Georgia. He was one of the players that I really wanted Philly to get, and they grabbed him in the 3rd round, and I was just like,
well, I remember who you really wanted in that draft, and we can get him because you were high on Jermaine Johnson as well.
I was.
I was like, you can't do that to me. I was like, heck no, you cannot let my guy Jermaine Johnson go to Philadelphia because he'd have been a perfect fit. So, but yeah, I love
him
Nakobe.
And Sauce. I was high on Sauce too, and they both went to the daggone Jets. Yeah.
Good job,
disgusting.
Jets.
but yeah, the Eagles have never valued the linebacker position. Like it's gone back years. So when they drafted Nakobe Dean, I'm like, okay, they something about this kid they trust, and he's been nicked up. So the first 2 games back, like I feel like he has to get accustomed to game speed again. From being out for so long. But, I think he just has to calm his nerves a little bit. You're the quarterback of the defense now. Like this is, you have to figure this out for the rest of the guys. And I think he just needs a little bit more time to get acclimated to that position. But I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine in the long run. It's just probably going to take a couple of games for him to get back into the flow.
Yeah. I think, sometimes it just takes young players time to develop. And I think, us as NFL fans, we're greedy, right? You're supposed to hit the ground running, being Micah Parsons. Like first game out the gate, 8 sacks, right? So that's the expectation that we set on these players. But sometimes it might take you 1 or 2 years, and especially with the injuries, not getting a lot of reps. Like this is the ultimate level, the ultimate football. Like you're playing at the highest level. It takes sometimes you some time to adapt, right? So I think for Nakobe Dean, the more reps he gets, the more comfortable he'll look, and then you'll start to see what we saw at Georgia because he has everything in front of him. As a linebacker, you want a defensive line, and I mean, man, you guys put so much resources at the defensive line spot. It's like crazy. It's like stop. You have enough. Like you're done. Like nope, we need more. I wouldn't be surprised if y'all go and get another defensive tackle or defensive lineman, edge rusher, or something else. But when it comes to the offensive line, right, the one thing this defense does do well is stop the run. So you mentioned Tony Pollard, right? But you guys have to have the #1 ranked run defense. So from the Cowboys standpoint, I'm like, okay, Mike McCarthy, what are we going to do now? Our offensive line, it's been a little shaky. Tyron Smith didn't practice today, y'all. He's still kind of nursing the stinger, our left tackle. Chuma Yadoga was a go, but it was just like, all right, we're getting kind of light at the left tackle position. So if he's not able to go, that definitely changes things because the one thing this defense can do is stop the run, but they can also get pressure, and you just don't want them to get a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott because that can cause for a chaotic day. Now, speaking of Dak Prescott, the one advantage I think that we may have, your secondary ain't been playing too well. So they're like the bottom of the NFL in yardage allowed and also in touchdowns allowed in the passing game. So, you have Slay, you have Bradbury, you got Blankenship, and you just got Kevin Byard, the other day. But what is your thoughts on this Eagles secondary, and how is you guys turn the corner? Because as of right now, it's pretty much a free lunch when it comes to, putting the ball in the air versus the Eagles.
My biggest concern is Bradbury.
Okay.
He's my weakest link.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin just got here. He even said, I should have played better. Just getting to a new team is no excuse to play the way that I did.
Right.
So I respect that. Next game, he's going to come out. He's going to be locked in. Blankenship, I'm not worried. He will make a play when he needs to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
Slay, not worried about him. Bradbury, he was getting cooked like a marshmallow over a fire. It was absolutely disgusting to watch. First, he looked like he didn't want to tackle anybody. Then he looked like he couldn't jump to like interfere somewhere in the catch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you just got paid this offseason.
Both did, right? Slay got paid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. We chose to keep you. And you're playing like this?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is not going to work here.
Yeah.
It's not going to work here.
Yeah.
So he either needs to step it up or he needs to fake an injury and get off the field.
Ooh, well, yeah.
Because I'm not with it. I'm not with it.
Yeah, and
at all.
And thank you for being honest. 'Cause I know a lot of Eagles fans online was like, we got the best safety in the league. I was like, what? Where? like just from the number standpoint. Now I do like Darius Slay, but he's a little older, right? Bradbury hasn't worked out. Now you have the guy Eli Ricks out of Bama, right? Playing. So it's like it's a lot of uncertainty with that, and along with your safeties as well. So I have to kind of give the nod just slightly to the Cowboys when it comes to our cornerbacks versus your cornerbacks, because as of right now, our cornerbacks are playing a lot better than currently Philly. Now, maybe just from a namesake, a lot of Eagles fans have no idea who Deron Bland, because he's a little 5th round pick from Fresno State that no one had. Yeah.
They better
get familiar, because there's little nobodies out there bagging up out there. He has the same amount of touchdowns.
In that secondary that I am nervous about, and I said this publicly, it is Micah Parsons and it is Deron Bland.
Yeah.
Because this man has 4 interceptions and 3 of them have been returned for touchdowns. We don't have time to be playing mediocre on Sunday. Yeah. No.
And I think that's what it is. A lot of people will see, okay, there's Stephon Gilmore. I know him. Who's this guy over here? I don't know. I'm going to test him. And every time they test him, they mess around and find out that he's taking it to the crib. And he had a phenomenal rookie season last year, so I would give the nod. But yeah, I just think that when it comes to your defense, your secondary hasn't been playing well, but how you cover that up is getting pressure with your front 7, right? So it's just like, okay, if the Cowboys are able to protect that, keep them clean in the pocket, then there's going to be some opportunities, especially for CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, and also Jake Ferguson. But if not, it could be a long day for the Dallas Cowboys offense, and I feel like this is going to be a game you got to score points. But I don't know, though, because y'all are just as bad in the red zone as we are, so maybe it's going to be a field goal, kickoff. But,
I hope not. I can't.
It's just like, so maybe we both just suck it up in the red zone and be like, 10-7 or something like that. But, I expect this game to be high scoring. And Dak Prescott historically has played well versus the Eagles defense. I know the Christmas matchup, Jalen didn't play, but your defense was fully intact, and you put up 40 points, and you had the 3rd and 20 into T.Y. Hilton, last year. So there's going to be some opportunity, but once again, you got to protect him and keep him clean. So now's where I have fun. Now's where I put you on the spot, Bree. What is your prediction and score prediction for Sunday's game?
I said it was going to be a defensive battle, and I feel like in order to win the game, you have to score touchdowns. So I think that both defense are going to get caught slipping at some point. Okay, but I do think that the Eagles have the home field advantage. Okay, they will win 23-17.
23-17. So that's a fairly low scoring game, so not too
but
What's the but?
If it gets out of hand and our defense is just lights out and Dallas can't score, then it's probably going to be upwards of 31 to 10 kind of thing, because the Eagles have scored 30 plus points in every home game this season. So 30 points is not out of the ordinary, but I do think that it's going to be more of a defensive battle than anything.
Yeah, and I'm with you. So, because you do a lot of bets. So you should, I think what the score is, at 41 or something like that, just take the over. So you think, well, no, you had the under originally, unless your defense steps up. So it's going to be a back and forth matchup. And I'm torn, right? Because I had the Cowboys and the Eagles splitting this year. And for me selfishly, of course I want to win them all. Let's just go ahead and win them all. But I would prefer to win the one in Dallas that I'm going to be at, because I don't want to walk out there with my head down around Christmas with a bunch of Eagles fans. So if I got to pick one, I'm going to pick the one in December. But Cowboys Nation, we're going to take them both. And I had the I might as well. I'm greedy. Y'all need it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, when you get greedy, you start fumbling all over.
Right. You're trying to do too much, but it's like, I feel like this is an important game for both teams, because honestly, I think, the Cowboys coming off the 49ers loss. A lot of people are questioning, okay, can you beat a real competitive team? Are you really a contender or a pretender? So I think this gives the Cowboys the opportunity, but also I think just from the Eagles standpoint as well, because a lot of people are questioning some of the games that you guys had, and, are you a contender or pretender, even though with your record being 7-1. So I think there's going to be a lot to prove. And I just think from the Eagles standpoint, they just really haven't gotten the best of Dak Prescott, so I think that's going to be one of these games where it's like, all right, we had Jalen, we're fully healthy, like we know that we're capable and we really run the division. But if it goes like it went in 2021, where it's just another blowout game, I think that can kind of cause things to unravel a little bit. You have the bye week, then you got to come deal with Mahomes, and the schedule gets a lot thicker. So I think it's going to be a competitive division, competitive game Sunday, but I got the Cowboys winning. Score prediction, I'm going with the Cowboys 34-31. Field goal.
34. Lord have mercy.
34-31. Brandon Aubrey goes ahead and get that final field goal and puts us up. So as of right now, now hit me back on this weekend, so I'll find out about our offensive line. If Tyron Smith isn't playing, I might shrink that down a little bit. But as of right now, I'm thinking he's going to play. So I got the Cowboys winning 34-31. But yo, Bree, appreciate you for coming on. For everyone who is seeing you for the first time, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at @yourhost_Breezy. That's where I'm most interactive. I don't do trolls. So don't
get you blocked.
Don't try to listen. I'm real quick with the block button.
Yeah.
But friendly banter, I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow me on Instagram at Sports and Stilettos Podcast. The show is available on every podcast platform, so you can pick and choose. Just search for Sports and Stilettos Podcast.
Yep, definitely give her a follow. Like I said, because you need to get your money up. You need to get some of your bets. Now, not on baseball, because baseball season's over. Salute to all the Rangers fans out there. But there's NBA going on. Because I know you probably wanted to play the Rangers in the World Series, but that would have made it even worse. Like, would it have been worse, like losing to a Dallas-based team? Because it's just Cowboys based. It's just Cowboys based that you can't stand. It's not just all of Texas teams, right?
No.
Okay.
It's just the Cowboys.
Just the star.
Just
okay. Just us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely give her a follow, because she's definitely gonna give you guys some bets to get your money up for Christmas and Black Friday shopping. She has these colorful little charts when it comes to baseball. At first, I didn't know what the hell I was reading. I said, I don't know what I'm reading, y'all, but I'm just gonna go along with it. And I was going along with it, and I was winning lots of money, but then I lost a lot of money doing some other stuff because I wasn't reading the charts, right? So you gotta pay attention.
That's my partner, Props.Cash.
Okay.
They are a analytics-based website that will give you every breakdown of any player prop that you're looking for.
Ooh.
NFL, NBA, NHL. I don't bet hockey, but hey.
So the craziest thing about
right there.
The sport that I am best at and I win the most money is hockey. And it's because I have a process and I stick to it because I don't know the sport. So I can't just go off my gut. And I feel like when I do football, I go off my gut. Like, my research says go to Pittsburgh, but I'm going with Tennessee. You just do stupid stuff like that. But with hockey, I don't know I don't know none of the players. I don't know anything. So I just do my research. I go off of it and I hit. And so I don't know. I just wake up in the morning and just see the cast. So, that's what I like, man. That's what I like. But for those of you seeing me for the first time, your boy J Tuck. You can follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. Comment, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're growing. Also follow High Point Fantasy. For you who do not know, I just linked up with my guy Dez Bryant. I was on a conference call with Dez all last night, so we're working on some things, getting things in motion. If you're going to be at the Cowboys game next week, I will be at the tailgate alongside Dez and some other people, doing a lot of giveaways, all sorts of stuff, autographs, just having fun. He's thinking he's coming to Philly. He's trying to get me to come to Philly with them. I'm just like, nah, I'm still not going to do it. Not this week.
I think he's going to be at the game. He's going to be at the game on Sunday.
He's trying to set up a tailgate. Dez is a baller. So he told me he's going to go to Vegas on Friday, and then he might fly out to either Germany or he might fly to Dallas, fly to Philly for the Dallas game. So it's either Germany for the Chiefs and Dolphins, or he's going to go to Philadelphia for the Cowboys and Eagles. I'm just like, Germany.
I would pick Germany too.
I appreciate the support for the home team, but Germany or Philadelphia, you can always catch that one later. So salute to my guy Dez, man. We gotta play Madden here soon, but appreciate all you guys in the chat. We got some more shows coming up this week. Saturday, I will be live with my guy Landlord from Alabama for the first time. We finally got our schedules to link up. So Saturday, we'll be going live. Got some more film studies, film breakdowns. So you guys know what we do on this channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and go Cowboys. Peace.